We're finally back. Olympic break is finally over. We're finally back to our regularly scheduled action of WNBA basketball. I'm super excited. The Olympics were great. That gold medal match between USA and France was an absolute, just a crazy, crazy game from start to finish. Gabby Williams almost really pulled it through at the end and hit that crazy shot off the backboard. And listen, I feel like that was just like a perfect representation of just what women's basketball is supposed to be. And like going into the second half of the season, I'm just super hyped for what we got coming up next.
Whalen to trigger in. Gets it to Moore. Moore will get it off. The shot is good. Game 3 belongs to Maya Moore and Minnesota.
Good morning, everybody. It's your boy JP. Joe Paul, backing him up, building him. Everybody's having a great day. All that good stuff, man. If you're watching this, please make sure you're doing a favor and leave a like. Hit the subscribe button for me. If you see my face a couple of times, man, if you clicked on multiple videos of mine, hit the subscribe button, bro. We can build a dope community over here. We want you to be a part of it. So, WNBA today, we are back, man. I've been really like hoping and just feeding to get back to doing these episodes because I just love talking about the W. You know what I'm saying? It's been a super exciting season. Not just, you know what I'm saying, for the rookie class and all that, just crazy storylines. You know what I'm saying? The Aces looking to go for a three-peat. You know what I'm saying? The Liberty trying to get back to the championship. The Connecticut Sky, they're trying to avenge, you know what I'm saying, a playoff defeat last year to the Liberty. The Lynx burst onto the scene. It's just been a crazy season. And we're only halfway through it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm super excited. So make sure you guys hit the subscribe button so you can be a part of all the great conversation we got here. So today's going to be a little bit of a kind of like a catching us back up to speed kind of episode because, you know what I'm saying, we have been off for like, 3 weeks? It's been 3 weeks, almost a month. So we're going to start this episode by going ahead and recapping just, you know what I'm saying, some recent news that's going on in the W right now. And then after that, we're going to go ahead and we're going to rank the WNBA teams. And I guess like they're going to be my personal power rankings, you know what I'm saying? So Dearica Hamby has filed a lawsuit against the WNBA and the Las Vegas Aces, citing discriminatory acts last year while she was pregnant. For those of you who don't know, Dearica Hamby was a member of the Las Vegas Aces last season. She had got pregnant, you know what I'm saying, right after signing, I believe it was a 2-year deal or a 2-year extension, something like that. So she had just re-signed with the team. She ends up getting pregnant, and, you know, you can't play basketball while you're pregnant. So, you know what I'm saying, she it goes out, you know what I'm saying, she has to, you know, do her thing as in becoming a mom and everything. And Dearica Hamby's lawyer basically is saying that the team kind of withdrew, you know what I'm saying, some conditions that they had, you know, agreed to in their contract. Like, I believe that Dearica Hamby had set it up that the team was going to pay for her daughter's tuition to go to school, and they're also going to provide a house for her, I guess, while she was traveling and all that good stuff. And apparently after she went out for her pregnancy, they said, oh, we're just going to stop paying tuition, and we're, you know what I'm saying, you have to leave the house immediately. And it's just an overall super crazy situation. It's like just wild, bizarre, like for you know what I'm saying, this to be, you know what I'm saying, the activist league, the league where, you know what I'm saying, you're supposed to be, you know what I'm saying, just like doing everything in your power for the betterment of, I guess, you know, women and all that good stuff. For them to be treating pregnant women like this is kind of gives you a little bit of pause, like kind of is a little weird. I'm saying it's not the first time the WNBA has had accusations like this. Skylar Diggins-Smith, the point guard for the Seattle Storm, she played formerly for the Phoenix Mercury, and while she was pregnant, I believe it was also last year, maybe 2 years ago at this point. But she went out also for you know, while she was pregnant, and she had the same issue. She said that she wasn't able to get into team facilities. The team basically act like she didn't exist. You know what I'm saying? She had a birthday pass, you know what I'm saying, over the course. So while the time she was out, the team didn't wish her a happy birthday or really acknowledge her at all, and the fans kind of just felt like that was kind of weird, bizarre activity. And you know what I'm saying, it's just, like I said, man, it's a very bizarre, very weird situation to be happening in the WNBA of all leagues. You know what I'm saying? Like, you expect them to kind of understand better than most, and it's bringing up a lot of, like, you know, critique and criticism again going towards, you know what I'm saying, the players, because everybody knows that in the beginning of the season, you know what I'm saying, with the introduction of Caitlin Clark into the WNBA and her fan base, they, you know what I'm saying, there was a lot of crazy things being said left and right by both sides. Whether you defend Caitlin Clark, whether you hate Caitlin Clark, there were crazy things being said on both sides. And, you know what I'm saying, people were really like on Caitlin's neck to be like, hey, you got to come out here and you got to say something to your fans, you got to get them under control, yada yada. And, you know what I'm saying, even as much as far as players in the WNBA, you know what I'm saying, DJ Carrington, she would go on Twitter and be like, yo, people are using your names for blah blah blah, this, that, and the third. And, you know what I'm saying, just very vocal, very just like, oh yeah, that's not cool, it's not what we do, blah blah blah. For this stuff to come out and to not hear a single peep from a single WNBA player is, let's call it bizarre, man. It's a little weird. I'm not gonna sit up here and act like it's not. For this to be the league that, you know what I'm saying, is known for speaking up when things are wrong, and, keeping everybody's best interest in mind. For not a single player to come out really in defense of De'Arica Hamby, I don't understand that, you know what I'm saying, the facts aren't all the way out. I understand that 100%. I understand 100% that none of the Las Vegas Aces are gonna come out and say anything. That'd be foolish on their part to come out and speak, you know what I'm saying, during an active investigation. But for nobody in the WNBA to say, like, oh, if that's true, then that's crazy, or, you know what I'm saying, just like nobody really coming out to the side of De'Arica Hamby and kind of just being like, hey, we support you during this process as well. It's a little weird. It's a very, very bizarre. For the after she was traded from the Aces, I believe an investigation was open against the Las Vegas Aces, and Becky Hammon was suspended 2 games for, I believe it was detrimental conduct, you know what I'm saying, in the workplace or something like that, and she was suspended for 2 games. And when asked about it, you know what I'm saying, Las Vegas Aces players, I think Asia Wilson, Kelsey Plum, Candace Parker at the time, they were asked about it, and they rode with their coach, you know what I'm saying. They did what I guess anybody would expect to do, you know what I'm saying. They said that we're going to play for her, we support her, and all that good stuff, and, kind of just swept it under the rug, you know what I'm saying, one could say. And it's just a really, really weird situation, like I said, for this to be the league of all leagues, for it to be taking place in. It's just, I don't know, man. And it's not the first instance where we have had, you know what I'm saying, cases of, you know what I'm saying, discrimination, or she does, just some weird things going on in the WNBA. Candace Wiggins, a former player, at least I believe she's a top 3 draft pick in the WNBA. She was, I believe I think her name right, is Candace Wiggins. She was, she retired super early in her basketball career, and when she stated why, she said that she had faced bully, you know what I'm saying, she was bullied a lot in the WNBA. She said that she was a straight woman, and that her being, you know what I'm saying, a straight woman, and being an openly a straight woman and all that good stuff, that it kind of like ruffled some feathers in WNBA. I believe she said that it was a 98% gay league. I think that she's, you know what I'm saying, exaggerating at that point, but, you know what I'm saying, she's saying that it's heavily, you know what I'm saying, in one direction as opposed to the other, and that she kind of received just like some bad treatment. I believe she said that in her Tribune letter that she was called a bitch more times that year than any time in her life. Like, she kind of just felt like the mess was just to push that you were not welcome here. And that's just very, very bizarre treatment. That's very, very, you know what I'm saying, unfair and unusual, and just like very, very weird. But at the same time, just with how I've experienced the WNBA this year as a you know what I'm saying, a new fan that's watching every single day, you know what I'm saying, experiencing you know what I'm saying, the players on social media and all that good stuff, and the fan base and everything, I can almost say that the way kind of like weird and shady things that seem to be going on with this league, it just kind of seems like there's some certain, like, something going on beneath the surface where they're not necessarily who they say they are. You know what I'm saying? This is not me trying to come out here and make speculations about the league, but it just feels like, you know what I'm saying, the show that they try to portray, on the face they try to portray for this league, that they care about everything and all that. At the same time, the league does feel like it's very cliquey. It feels like it's very much like, you know what I'm saying, very like politicky, very much of like the Mean Girls Club moments, where, like, you know what I'm saying, if you don't fit the certain criteria, then you're kind of going to get shunned and kind of going to get, you know what I'm saying, the weird end of the stick. And that's unacceptable, man. It's unacceptable. Like I said, it's just kind of like me kind of just like talking out what's been going on the past couple of days with the WNBA and everything going on Twitter and everything. And it's just talking out loud. It's just a really, really weird situation. If you guys want to talk about it in the comments, let me know just how you feel about all this stuff going on with Becky Hammon and the Aces. If you feel like you know what I'm saying, Asia Wilson should have to come out and say something on behalf of the team or on behalf of herself or anything like that, just let me know in the comments. I just think that it's a super interesting thing to happen right now in the league. But without further ado, man, we have finally, like I said, we finally made it back to the WNBA season. It's been a long time coming, man. Have not been able to watch Caitlin Clark play basketball for the last like 3 weeks, bro. Super stressful stuff. She's also been like in the headlines like crazy, like not the headlines per se, but there were fans at games wearing Caitlin Clark jerseys. Caitlin Clark is you know what I'm saying, the talk of Twitter. Everybody's just like, hey, they're looking at this team and they're seeing just how bad that Chelsea Gray is performing and how bad Diana Taurasi is, and they're just like, hey, you guys probably could use a young guard that can, get this team up and down the court and score a lot of points. But it's just, you know what I'm saying, just not not being able to watch somebody like Caitlin has been, stressed out, and the other rookies and other players in general. You know what I'm saying? We haven't been able to watch Enrique, haven't been able to watch Angel Reese, haven't been able to watch, just like a lot of super, super talented players, and we're finally going to get back to that. So we're kind of going to, reestablish ourselves. We're going to rank the teams from 12 to 1, so from worst to best. And let's go ahead, man. Let's get in from the top, man. So number 12, last place, the worst team in the WNBA, is the Atlanta Dream, man. So the Atlanta Dream, they actually have one of my more recent favorite players in the entire W on their team right now, in Alicia Gray. You know what I'm saying? She's got to be like one of their lone star points right now for a team that just, they're not the worst team in the standings, but watching them play, you could tell that they're just the worst team in the league. You know what I'm saying? Alicia Gray's giving you 15.5 points per game, 4 rebounds, 2.5 assists on 42% from the field, 36% from All-Star. They've had, injuries missed with Ryan Howard, who's another All-Star for their team. You know what I'm saying? She's was an Olympian this past Olympics. She's missed a lot of time. You know what I'm saying? She's giving you 15 points when she's on the floor. But the team overall, they're just not super talented. You know what I'm saying? They have Tina Charles there. She does her thing. You know what I'm saying? Scoring a couple points, grabbing some rebounds. But this team just ain't it right now. I think they're definitely got to retool. Ryan Howard missing the time that she missed is definitely like catching up to the team and putting them in a tough spot. You know what I'm saying? So right now they're ninth in the standings. If things go south with the Chicago Sky, which I feel like is completely possible, they could potentially sneak their way into an 8th seed. But I don't want to expect them to make any noise if they did. So number 11, man, we're going to move on to the Dallas Wings. So they're tied for last in the standings. So they're tied for last in the standings right now. Enrique, you know what I'm saying, is the lone star. She's giving you 22 points per game. You know what I'm saying? The weird thing about the Dallas Stars is that I thought that Satu Sabali was out this entire time with injury, but then the Olympics came and she played every single game with no minutes restriction. And I was just like, what's going on with that? And then I learned, you know what I'm saying, more about the WNBA WNBA prioritization rule, where they make you basically decide if you're going to play for your national team or if you're going to play for the WNBA, which I think is completely stupid. It makes absolutely no sense, because why would you want to put your best players in a bind where they have to choose between playing in your league or playing for the national team? Like, clearly they want to do both. You know what I'm saying? Why can't they do both? Your team, your players do both. You know what I'm saying? Like, Breonna Stewart and Asia Wilson, they played every single game, you know what I'm saying, leading up until the Olympic break, and then they went overseas and they played. So why isn't Satu Sabali allowed to play, you know what I'm saying, half the season for the United States and then go play in Germany? Like, she's not going to be at Team USA camp, do anything like to like really interfere with that. So that's really, really weird. So that's for the second half of the season, if the Wings are able to get Satu Sabali back, I really think that puts them in a lot better of a position. But they're definitely going to have to dig themselves out of a hole. Odyssey Sims, she's burst onto the scene in the last couple of games. She's only played 9 games. I don't really understand where she came from. Was she injured? Was she acquired like in free agency or off a trade? Because she's coming in, she's giving you 17 points per game, 5.5 assists per game on 53% from the floor and 50% from 3. Just a certified bucket. You know what I'm saying? In their last game before the break against the Fever, Odyssey Sims was a big reason why they were able to win that game. That's a game where Caitlin Clark is going out there and dishing 19 assists to her teammates, and they lost that game because Odyssey Sims and Enrique Agumbawale down the clutch were just too much, you know what I'm saying, for the Fever to overcome. So yeah, man, they get Satu back, then, you know what I'm saying, maybe without something to work with, but until then, that's all I got for you, man. Las Vegas is. So number 10, we're going to go with the Los Angeles Sparks. Okay, they're currently 10th in the standings. I see the future. I see the vision for this team with the future. You know what I'm saying? With Cameron Brink, with Rakia Jackson, with Lexi Brown and all that. I see the potential with De'Erica Hamby also. But just the team just doesn't kind of just feel like their future's a little murky right now. You know what I'm saying? Cameron Brink is coming off a torn ACL. Lexi Brown is away from the team right now, dealing with her sickle cell, and you know what I'm saying, you're not really sure what those players look like when they come back. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure like the extent of sickle cell, but I know that, you know what I'm saying, it's a long road to recovery, but not recovery, because you don't recover from it, but you know what I'm saying, it's like constant treatment, constant monitoring. So I'm not sure like how often she could be able to work on her game and everything. And Cameron Brink coming off of a torn ACL, I know that we're in the the day and age where tearing an ACL is like no different than like breaking your arm. But you know what I'm saying, still for a player who's, you know what I'm saying, relies on her movement, who relies on being able to block shots and everything, you really just kind of wonder how that's going to affect her. But other than that, man, the team is just super. I'm sorry, Lexi Brown does not have sickle cell. She has Crohn's disease, not sickle cell. Not sickle cell. She has Crohn's disease. If anybody already flamed me in the comments, my bad. She has Crohn's disease, not sickle cell. But like I said, Rakia Jackson, she's a bucket. Dearica Hamey, she's all, you know what I'm saying, always going to be doing her thing in that mid-range area, even though she has kind of fallen off a little bit towards the, you know, the second half of the season. But like I said, I see the vision for the Sparks, but there's teams gonna have to get healthy. They're gonna have to, you know what I'm saying, get some continuity before I can say that they'll be like definitively one of those teams going on in the future. Moving on, we're going to go to number 9, who is going to be the Washington Mystics, a team that is also tied for last right now in the standings. So the Mystics are without a doubt the best 6-19 team I've ever seen in my entire life. I say that because the fact that like they're not a team that's, you know what I'm saying, I heard getting blown out. The fact that they have as many losses as they do, you would think that they're just a bad team who can't stop anybody, and they're just, you know what I'm saying, like it is what it is. But that's not the case for them at all. Like they're actually a very, very solid offensive team. They have Ariel Atkins. They have Stephanie Golson. I forgot her name. The shooter that was in the 3-point contest. They have just a very solid roster with Shakira Austin. They got Aaliyah Edwards, Julie Van Loo, Stephanie Dolson's her name. And it just feels like they're like either a draft pick or, you know what I'm saying, Elena Delle Donne coming back and being, you know what I'm saying, a fraction of the player that she was from actually being like a consistent playoff team. You know what I'm saying? They have 10 losses by 7 points or less. You know what I'm saying? Like, so those are plenty of games that could have swung one way or another. Instead of them being 6-19, they could be, you know what I'm saying, looking at a much better record, closer to 500. So I don't think that it's not going to be the season for them. Clearly, you know what I'm saying, Ariel Atkins, she's out here doing her thing, giving you 16 points per game, 16 4-4. But they're just a pick away. So maybe next year, maybe they're able to get somebody for agency, but they're missing somebody. Maybe if they still had Natasha Cloud, like they'd have something to work with here. Like they were a team that just last year was in the playoffs with Natasha Cloud, you know what I'm saying, battling with the New York Liberty, but just this year they just don't have it. So moving on, number 8, we're going to go with the Chicago Sky. So this is actually probably one of the only teams that actually have placed exactly where they are in the standings. They are 8th in the standings, so they're number 8 on my list. Kennedy Carter is an absolute superstar. You know what I'm saying? Her being who she is. Everybody talks about injuries. Everybody talks about, you know what I'm saying, the energy and the double-doubles and all that injuries gives you. But Kennedy Carter is without a doubt the fastest player in the entire W. She has the fastest quick step in the entire league. Her ability to just get out there and just be like a bullet on the floor is absolutely like incredible to me. Like there's always just like 2 or 3 times a game where you just see Kennedy Carter out in front of the crowd by herself getting a wide open layup, whether it be off a steal, whether it be off her just getting the ball off the inbound and just taking the ball off the court. I believe she's a much improved 3-point shooter as the season has gone on. So you know what I'm saying, as that becomes a better part of her game, like you kind of just like really wonder like, what's the sky's the limit for this girl. You know what I'm saying? She's somebody who's faced a lot of criticism, a lot of other issues in her career, but she seems to have found a home in Chicago, and she's super comfortable. And yeah, like I said, man, the sky's the limit for her. She's a player that I'm just like, I look around, I look at the 3v3 team for Team USA, and I'm like, why wasn't she on that team? She would absolutely kill in a 3v3 setting. Nobody can guard her one-on-one, and you're basically just giving her open court to just do what she does. And like, I'd much rather see that than Haley Van Lith. Sorry for HVL to get a shot right now, but I'd rather see Kennedy Carter than Haley Van Lith. But as far as the rest of the Chicago Sky, I think that their front court is in a great place for the future. You know what I'm saying? Them having Angel Reese, them having Camilla Cardoza, them having Izzy Harrison. They're just like a very, very solid, very, very deep front court. And like they're gonna have to somehow or another acquire like that second guard. I know that Angel Reese was doing her best to get Gabby Williams to come back over from France and to be on the Chicago Sky, but Gabby said that's just not gonna happen. And man, like they're a team that right now I'm very, very worried for them. Like, you know what I'm saying, they were a team that was kind of like on the slide a little bit going into the break. They ended up winning a couple games down the stretch. They, you know what I'm saying, kind of kept them above, above float, or kept them afloat. But them trading Marita Mabry at the end of right at the end of the first half of the season, that was just absolutely ridiculous to me. They traded away their only 3-point shooting. They traded away the only thing that makes them, the only player that gives them the ability to stretch out the floor. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that really worries me. That really worries me for a team that was already super dictated, super predicated on scoring the ball in the paint. Now they only can do that. You know what I'm saying? They don't even have, a safety valve for them to go ahead and kick that out to. So they're a team that I wouldn't be surprised if they dropped a spot or two, giving, a team like Atlanta a chance to potentially jump them, or, something like that. But they're going to have to figure it out on the offensive end. They'll have to figure that out. But number 7, I had the Phoenix Mercury. Now, they're currently number 6 in the standings, but I have them at number 7 in my rankings just because I feel like they should be a lot better than where they are. For them to be 13-12, they're a very inconsistent team. They've dealt with, injuries from Diana Taurasi, Brittany Griner. The shining star has been Kalia Copper, who's having an MVP season. She's giving you 23 points per game on 45% from the floor, 5 rebounds, 33% from 3. Just an absolute bucket. To watch her just withering away on the bench, for Team USA was an absolute travesty. But I'm super glad that she was able to get her opportunity in that gold medal match, and just to show like why she is the second or third, leading scorer in the WNBA right now. The reason why she is in MVP conversation, just because she's just a great player. She's a great player. Everybody saw in the game against the Fever where she almost brought them back single-handedly. Down the stretch in that fourth quarter. There's times where she can just become absolutely unstoppable. Absolutely unstoppable. So a super great talent she is, but like I said, other injuries, whether it be from Diana Taurasi and Brittany Griner. Taurasi, the end of the first half of the season, they were missing games, and I was kind of thinking like, was that part of like, rest for the Olympics? Was that kind of them actually having to nurse injuries before the Olympics so that they're not going to Paris injured? I'm not entirely sure what the thought process was, but watching both Diana Taurasi and Brittany Griner in the Olympics, they didn't seem to be 100% healthy. Well, Diana Taurasi just seemed like she's old to me. Like I didn't think that she was like out there, laboring or anything. I thought that she was just old. But Brittany Griner, while she was effective in the minutes that she had, but you would think that somebody like Brittany Griner, she would just command more minutes on the floor. I understand you have Asia Wilson, I understand you have Brianna Stewart on the floor, but they got to come out the game sometime, and that's where you're supposed to get Brittany Griner to come in and cook. So, yeah, man, a lot of questions for them. I think overall they are a super solid team. They have Sophie Cunningham. They have Natasha Cloud. I love their team overall. They're a team that when the season first started, I had them like they were up there for me in terms of teams that I thought were going to be competing for potentially a title this season, but just their inconsistent play and the shakiness of at various times with the roster, they're not quite going to get there. So I had them at the number 7 spot. So going to number 6, I have the Indiana Fever, man. I got to give the Indiana Fever some love, man. Everybody's going to say, oh, man, you just glazing Caitlin Clark. You think it's because Caitlin Clark? It's not even just because Caitlin Clark. I think that the Indiana Fever are one of the better overall, I guess, fit teams. What's the better way to put this? The Indiana Fever are one of the better overall groups in the entire NBA. You know what I'm saying? I think that just the dynamic they have on the floor with Caitlin Clark, with Aaliyah Boston, with Kelsey Mitchell and Nalissa Smith and everybody, and even the bench players, even Lexi Hull and Katie Lou Samuelson. Everybody who gets in the game, everybody who is a constant part of the rotation, they know what they're supposed to do, and they are very, very good at it. Temi Fagbenle, I can't forget about her, the rim running queen. Like, she's out there just playing. They all revolve around Caitlin perfectly. You know what I'm saying? And for a player who came on from Iowa, who was, the main focus and everything, she was the system. She couldn't have got matched up with better players, because these are players that don't have any amount of ego. They don't have any amount of like, hey, I need to be getting my shine. Like, they all are fine just playing off of Caitlin, and they all are fine playing off each other, playing off of Caitlin. You know what I'm saying? Aaliyah Boston has no problem getting the ball in the short corner or the short post and being able to feed one of the shooters in the corner, being able to feed Nalissa Smith cutting to the basket. Like, they're just an overall great fit team. You know what I'm saying? Caitlin Clark's coming out and giving you 17 points per game, 5.8 rebounds per game, 8.2 assists per game on 40.5 from the floor, 33% from 3, with a steal and a half. AB's giving you 14.5, 8.7 rebounds on 53%. She could have arguably been an Olympian this past Olympics. They're just overall a great team. They're a great team, and I had them as the 6th best team in the WNBA. And I have them at number 6 in the WNBA because they have the best guard, the best duo, and the best offense in the entire W. Number 5, we had the Seattle Storm, man. The Seattle Storm, another team that I was very, very big on coming into the season with Jewel Lloyd, with NECA, with Skylar Diggins. I've learned very, very quickly that Ezzy Maglagor, I feel bad butchering her name. Ezzy Maglagor. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna stop trying. Ezzy is great. You know what I'm saying? She's a great, great player. She also did her things also in the Olympics this past year. They're just a very, very solidly built team, but they're low key on fraud watch. You know what I'm saying? Against the teams that are above them in the standings, so against the top 4 teams in the entire WNBA, they're 3-9. You know what I'm saying? They feasted very much on playing against, you know what I'm saying, the bottom feeders of the league. If you watch them play against the Indiana Fever, they are the greatest team ever assembled. You know what I'm saying? Jewel Lloyd becomes prime Stephen Curry, and it's a very, very tough watch if you're an Indiana Fever fan. But I just like the Storm. I think that they're very, very solid. I think that if they, like I said, they probably are Gabby Williams away from being an actual, like, you know, championship contender. But as currently constructed, I like them at the 5 spot. They have a super, super talented starting 5 with Skylar Diggins Smith, Horston, Mezzi, NECA, and Jewel. And their bench players are solid. They are very, very solid players. I just don't think that they're better than any of the 4 teams that are ahead of them. So we're going to roll into number 4. We had number 4. We are going to go with the Minnesota Lynx. So I still think that the Minnesota Lynx are arguably the best team in the entire W when they're healthy. You know what I'm saying? They're a team that dominates on the offensive end and the defensive end. They block shots, they get steals, they knock down the 3-ball. Nafisa Collier is also an MVP candidate. Nafisa's giving you high stats of 20 points per game, 10 rebounds per game, 3.7 assists per game, 2 steals, a block and a half on 47% from the floor, and 32% from 3. You know what I'm saying? She was on an absolute tear coming leading up into the Olympics before she got injured. You know what I'm saying? Once she got her injury, that really, like, you know, took a lot of the win out of the team. They ended up going 3-2. That those games could have really moved them up in the standings, but for them currently to be sitting tied for 3rd, I think that they're in a very good position coming out of the break. You know, like I was saying about the 3-point shooting, they currently have 9 players shooting above 40% on the team, and I think that come playoff time, you're looking at, that's probably what's going to be, you know what I'm saying, their main bread and butter. You know what I'm saying? They're not a short team, but they're not the tallest team in the world. They definitely have some height around there, but they're not a team that's going to feast very much in the paint. But they can get super, super high on the 3-point line, and you can get Nafisa Collier out there in space, knocking down her little bank shots and her fadeaway mid-range shots. They can really beat anybody on any given night. So I still got them as potentially the best team in the W when they're healthy. But the fact that Nafisa Smith, the time that she has, I gotta keep them at number 4 right now. Number 3, we are going to go with the Connecticut Sun. So they're actually currently second in the standings, but they're kind of going a little bit of a slide right now, coming off their big hot start. So they started off 9-0 to start the season, but since then they are 9-6. Their offense just like doesn't quite have it all the time. Like Alyssa Thomas, who's their best player, is not a big scorer, and you know what I'm saying, I think that she really would be the best player that she could possibly be if she's in a setting like with like kind of like Draymond Green is in with the Warriors, where she just has like amazing scorers around her, and she's able to just, you know what I'm saying, dish the ball out left and right and set them up all game, and that will allow her to get her buckets even easier. But she's in a position where she has to, like, you know, dictate baskets, where they're relying on a lot on you know what I'm saying, heavy on DeWanna Bonner. You know what I'm saying, she's the 5th all-time leading scorer in the entire W's history. Dejanay Carrington, she's having a most improved season. She's giving you 13 points per game, 5 rebounds, 40%. Not the greatest 3-point shooter, but you know, she's trying at 29%. But their offense is definitely lacking. But I think that them bringing in a player like Marina Mabry can potentially change the entire tide for their entire season. You know what I'm saying? For, like I was saying, for a team that really, really struggled offensively, that was really, really on a slide coming off of their hot start, I think that getting a player like Marina Mabry is just like exactly what the doctor ordered. You know what I'm saying? Marina is a great offensive player. When she gets hot, she can single-handedly lift your team places. Like there were times where Marina was the only player on the Sky that was able to make a shot, and she would single-handedly keep them in games. Now, there were also plenty of times when Marina Mabry lost the Chicago Sky games by missing free throws or, you know what I'm saying, turnovers down late, or she would just have a bad game overall. But I think that's kind of just like the give and take you have with a player like her. When she's hot, you got to ride with the hot hand, but when she's cold, you got to just live with it. You know what I'm saying? That's just the duality of woman, the duality of basketball. So, you know what I'm saying? I think that 3 is a solid place for the Connecticut Sun. I just can't put them ahead of the top 2, and at this point you probably know who the top 2 is. Only 2 teams left, but you guys just got to figure out the order right now. So at number 2, we're going to go with the Las Vegas Aces. So the Las Vegas Aces are, right now, they're currently 5th in the standings. They had a couple of late losses toward the end of the year. But when they're healthy, they are the undisputed best team in the entire league. When Chelsea Gray is firing, when Kelsey and Jackie and Asia and Kia Stokes are all, healthy and are able to play their game, I don't think there's a team in the league that can beat them. I think that they're still a favorite to three-peat with that lineup at 100%. But the only issue right now is that we're not sure if they're at 100%. Chelsea Gray, ever since she came off her injury, has not looked great. You know what I'm saying? She's only giving you 7 points per game. She's giving you 5 assists, 39% from the floor, 24% from the three, and it's solid. You know what I'm saying? For a team that really just needed a point guard to be able to set things up, she's solid. She's good. But you saw in the Olympics that she just looked old. She just looked slow. She looked like she was just like dragging a wagon, and not in a good way. You know what I'm saying? Up the court sometimes. Like she was just like trying to carry a dead leg up the court. And it was tough, man. That was a tough watch. And if you're an Aces fan, you're looking at that, you're just like, all right. So we have, Asia Wilson. She's gonna be the MVP. You know what I'm saying? She's giving you 27 points per game, 12 rebounds, 3 blocks, 2 steals on amazing efficiency. She's gonna be the MVP. Jackie Young had an amazing Olympics. She's also having a great season, giving you 20. I think she's averaging over 18. Kelsey Plum also averaging over 18. But they're not a team that's super deep on that bench, and with them having that Kate Martin injury, that's sneakily a big deal for them. Kate Martin being out, because that was a player that she wasn't really expected to be thrusted into a position where she was going to have to contribute. But once they saw that she can contribute, she became a big part of what they do. You know what I'm saying? A big part of their rotation. And for her to have that injury, I don't believe that it was a super big deal. But for her to have that injury, it was kind of just like, oh shit, like what does this mean for, the rotation and for the Aces, immediate future. But I guess time will only tell with the Aces right now. You know what I'm saying? They are a team, like I said, when healthy, should be competing for that 3rd championship, but as currently constructed with the injuries, with the bench depth, with also the issues going on. We talked about at the beginning of the episode with the Erica Hamby lawsuit. Their basketball might not be at the top of their mind right now. So for the defending champions, for the first time in a long time, they might not be the team that comes out of the West this year. All right, and that leaves us with one team and one team only from the great state of New York. The New York Liberty are the best team in the W right now. I really cannot argue it at all. You know what I'm saying? The New York Liberty are having a great year. They're 21-4. The losses they had were just like, one of them involved Caitlin Clark having the greatest game by a rookie ever. Another one involved, I believe it was an overtime loss. Another one involved Angel Reese and Marina Mabry getting off. It was just they are clearly been the best team. And while I don't think that Stewie's been having the best season of her career this year, even coming off of, MVP last year, I think that the Olympics really probably got her back on her shit, if I'm being honest with you. Like the way how Stewie was performing over the course of the entire Olympics, she looked like she was focused, like she was in her element, and that nobody on the court could stop her. And I think that coming back for the second half of the season, I think that she found a 3-point stroke again in that Olympic run. And if I'm a Liberty fan, I feel very, very confident in the fact that we had that Stewie coming back, from Paris. And the Sabrina Ionescu's having the best season of her career, giving you 20 points per game, 4 rebounds, 6 assists on 42% from the field, 36% from 3, 90% from the floor. Like, you got Jonquel, you got Benaja, you got Vandersloot, you got Phoebus. They're just a super deep team. Caitlin Doran's having a career year as well. If I'm a Liberty fan, I feel very, very good about this team. Last year they had a very, very tough, very heartbreaking loss last year in the finals to the Aces. But this year is definitely a new year, man. We have a new Liberty team. The Aces don't seem to be, the superpower that they were a year ago. And it's really up for grabs. We could potentially be looking at a new champion in the W this year. So let me know what you guys think about that list. Let me know if you guys think I got it right, got it wrong. If you would have had the Sky over the Fever, or if you would have had the Mercury above the Storm. I don't know what you would have did. Let me know in the comments, and maybe we could talk about it. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next video, man. Peace and love, family. Deuces.